Good morning, St. Louis. It is 7 a.m. on a Tuesday, so y'all know what time it is. It's time for the St. Louis Hustle Podcast with your boy Cortez Hustle, my girl Michelle A. And we got a question for you. I got 5 on it. Do you got 5 on it, right? On the ballot in Missouri is recreational marijuana. And we posed the question, should we go with recreational marijuana like our neighbors in Illinois and so many other states around the country, or should we leave it alone? That's what we're talking about today. We love to get your opinion. We got some pros and cons that we're going to hit you with. So do me a huge favor. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand. Smash that show button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it this morning.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy, and most say if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
All right, St. Louis, welcome to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I'm your boy Cortez Hustle. That's my girl Michelle A. And we are coming to you live and direct from the Local Biz Marketing Pro Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're a small local business looking to optimize your online presence, make sure you check out localbizmarketingpros.com. They've got all the tools, they got all the training, they've got all of the templates that you need to take your business to the very next level. Chalet, we're talking about marijuana. Man, it's about to go down. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Missouri should pass recreational marijuana, or should they stay away from it? That's what we're talking about today, and we're going to get your opinions. We've got some thoughts, and we found a lot of statistics on the pros and the cons, and I don't know where this is going to go, but we're going to see. But comment in the chat where you're from. Let us know if you're in business or not. We'd like to give you a free business.
Yes.
Nevertheless, Chalet, how was your weekend? How was the with the glam baby?
Man, see, look at that man. Look at that. Boy, I tell you that little type right there just gets me every time. Man, so he we're not really big Halloween people or whatever. But the babies be the babies. So my daughter went in the middle and she let him his godmother bought him a pair of Batman PJs. So minus the mask. He wasn't gonna keep a mask on his face anyway. He wasn't gonna keep nothing on his head. Yeah, he wasn't gonna keep nothing on his head. I don't care. You put a hat on the head. We had a fight this morning. Fast I put it on, he snatched it off. So, but he wore the Batman PJs to daycare yesterday. He had a good time. But I quickly learned that the G baby got hands. That baby got hands. He got hands. First day back in daycare since he's been walking, and the daycare he goes to, it's a home daycare, and it's a really unique strategy from the owner. She only takes her oldest kid is 2, so 2 and under is all she takes. Okay. And so I think she might have had 1 infant, but she had like maybe three other little boys, and then my grandson. And the little boys were, I think one was 18 months, and I think one might have been 2, right on the cup. And he was running with them jokers. She said she had put him in timeout because he was giving smackdown to everybody around him. She said, I tried to get him with the candy. She said he wasn't feeling the candy. He wanted to take everybody else's candy. And then when they take it back, he threw the hands and put paws on them. He put Batman like paws. Man, so yeah, I don't know where we go. I don't know where she gonna go with that. My daughter, because I'm like, hey, you better get them. That's the sign when they start getting kicked out of class. You better do something early. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to just watch him just be so full of life and energy. That joker don't want to be carried nowhere. So man, so yeah, all was well. Now what about with your grandniece? How's things with her for Halloween?
She was Chucky last night. So that says a lot about what's going on in this household.
That's one of the times you be like, I want to go to sleep, but somebody watching the baby.
Yeah, she last night. But she had a good time. I didn't go out with them last night, but they went to a nice little neighborhood where they did a block and a half, and she got a bucket of candy, and they came on in. It didn't take long.
Did you do this with your kids? I used to do it with mine when they was trick or treating. We go to the white people neighborhood. Sorry, white people, but yeah, we was all up in the old Ferguson, where the old money was.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's where I got first hit with. Now, all the years I grew up in Los Angeles, we was trick or treaters, right, coming up, right, and I had one of the mamas that was like, I want to be a princess or a fairy god, somebody. No, you got to be a vampire, a monster, but she would never buy me the complete costume. So I'm out there with Frankenstein head on, vampire cape on, and some
in a witch room.
And a witch was serious. I'm like, well, my costume don't match. It's a shame. But my point is, all we had to do was knock and get candy, and we didn't have to tell a joke. St. Louis, when I did take my nieces and nephews, my kids were a little older. These people white folks want jokes. Black folks just you put the candy in there and roll out. White folks want a joke. Is that a St. Louis thing?
Trick or treat. It's trick or treat. You gotta perform a little bit for this candy.
What kind of old Negro slave? Come on. What is that? I got to go put on the yes sir, trick or treat, trick or treat. Who got time for that?
Trick for a treat.
That's ridiculous. Somebody gave my niece some fruit, and she was just like, "I said trick or treat, not trick or fruit." Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. So
we've seen that. Some of the neighborhoods. This candy is gonna ruin your teeth. Here's a granola bar. Here's a rice cake, lady. What?
Oh. Man, you talk about a fight? They had to call police on me. A rice cake? Lady, you want to fight? You might as well put them styrofoam peanuts in there. Can I get some styrofoam peanuts too?
Yes.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Man. Anyway.
But yeah,
so that was Halloween.
How we were. Also, we did get a chance to talk about my experience with the gala over there.
How did that go? That's what I meant. I should have led with that. Tell you ain't got no pictures. First of all, I need to see pictures of you and Sugar. No. I say I went to the wrong person. I should have called Sugar before the show. That's what I should have did. Sugar, I'm sorry. I should have called you.
We got one picture. Humanity's in the middle. Shout out to Clay Farmer, prosecuting attorney Bill, and his whole team as other co-founder of that organization. They showed some of the experiences that they send these kids on, and it's a wonderful thing that they're doing. So if you guys want to got some extra discretionary cash laying around that you want to sow some seeds and do some good with, I'm gonna put the link in the show notes and the comments. Check out Humanity in the Middle.
Yeah, they are doing big things
between community and policing, which is absolutely necessary, and it's amazing the way they do it. They went to Jackson, Mississippi. They went to a lot of these places that are rich in Black history and Black excellence. So amazing. Sharon Childs, good morning. We see you. Welcome to the stream this morning. Do you think we're gonna win this fight to get marijuana on the ballot, or actually marijuana is on the ballot? Are we gonna win the fight to legalize it for recreational use? So we're going to get into that conversation. Before we do, though, we've got a word of the day. So let's get into some Michelle A. word of the day right here on the St. Louis Podcast.
And now the Michelle I. word of the day.
Hey, what's up, party people? It's your girl, Michelle A. And I'm coming at you with the word of the day. Well, really, so much a word for the day, but more like an appreciation, right? So as most of you guys know, some of y'all should know. If you didn't know, shame on you. October was Pastor Appreciation Month. Yay. And so I just wanted to take this time for the Michelle A. Word of the Day and appreciate my pastors, Pastor Darnell and Pastor Rochelle West of Influence Church. I definitely want to take just a moment or two to shout them out. They are phenomenal pastors, and they are I want to say it's so hood. They true to the game, y'all. They are true to the game. They are true to God. They're true to themselves. They're honest and very, very transparent. And being a person that has been within their ministry less than a year, I have had the pleasure of dining, breaking bread with them. I've had the pleasure of working hand in hand with them on office projects, business projects, as well as church projects. And they are, for my experience with pastors, okay, just my experience, don't shoot the messenger. They are as real as it comes. They are super transparent to where when they get up on Sunday morning, they are the same on Sunday morning as they are on a Friday evening. There's no difference. My pastors are phenomenal people. They're givers. They're forever sowing seeds and giving, not just in the community, but giving to individuals. They're giving to other churches. They give to other countries. They start projects in other countries so that they can kind of bless up on that end for those other countries. And I think that's the heart of pastoralship, is to not only just love on your congregation, but to love abroad as well. Not just to love your long-term members, but to be approachable and love on your new members as well. And so I just want to shout out again my pastors, Darnell and Rochelle West, for showing us an excellence, a godly excellence in ministry, but also a transparent excellence in ministry as well. So happy Pastors Appreciation Month, guys. So that's from me to you. That's my word of the day. Boom.
There you go. And that wonderful word of appreciation is brought to you by the Local Biz Marketing Pros Mastermind Group. If you are a small business owner and you are looking for a safe place to learn how to use online marketing to optimize your presence on this internet, increase your leads and grow your revenue, then check out our free Facebook group, Local Biz Marketing Mastermind. That's facebook.com/groups/Local Biz Marketing Mastermind. So, Michelle, we're going to do these pros and we're going to do these cons.
Whew,
and
man.
We're going to talk about legalizing Mary Jane.
My disclaimer.
State my piece on
right.
on it as a former weed head, and at one point I must admit I had a pretty successful distributorship as well.
Distribution. I'm so dead.
And I say that just for facts, not to brag. But really, I think if we have alcohol, we have other things that you would imagine that probably are causing a lot of harm in the community, but they don't necessarily care, then what's the big deal with recreational marijuana? Now, I'm going to put my conspiracy theory hat on too.
Here you go.
If we go back to the hemp revolution and a lot of other stuff, we maybe will get into a little bit of that today. But I'm going to do some of the pros. I think we're flipping it, and you're going to do some of the cons.
We're going to flip it. I'm going to do the cons. You're going to do the pros.
You're going to do the cons.
Well,
So,
okay.
but let us know in the comments, do you think it's a good thing for the state of Missouri on our ballots for this general election is the opportunity to rewrite the Constitution and legalize recreational use of marijuana? That means that you no longer need a medical marijuana card to get access to the ganja, to the hemp, to the Mary Jane, to the Goofy Dust. It goes by so many names, Michelle. My mother. My mother-in-law called it the goofy dust. She is coming in a little
dust.
faded. She's like, oh, they've been on that goofy dust.
That is, well, I told you back in the day, I told you my story back in the day. My grandmama, who was in her, I think her 70s at the time, probably 60s, we were living in California. And my daddy was the weed man, and I had no clue. I was such an oblivious child. Like, I didn't understand. I didn't need to understand drug stuff. I was never exposed to it or didn't see it, but it was right in my own backyard, literally. Because my mama and daddy had a garden. And they had tomatoes and turnips and turnip greens and collard greens and marijuana plants. And my grandmama came and she said, they was like, oh yeah, Grady, we got your, greens out back. Yeah, go take a look at the garden. She went out there. She said, okay, my garden looking real good. I see them collards up real nice, but if y'all don't get them weeds from around them collards, you gonna choke my weeds out. And I'm thinking weeds. And she was like, no. Tell your daddy that the weed is killing my collards. Oh my. I didn't understand what it was, but yeah, that's I'm not about that life. I can't even say I was a weed connoisseur because I tried it and it always did me in. Like it always did me in. I can't even do it edible. I'm glad though. I'm glad. Led to my sobriety.
I never to this date had edible, but there was a time where I was trying to be that dude, counter to my own actual true nature. And I was probably smoking about a quarter ounce of weed a day. And
how many blunts is it? How many joints is that?
So in terms of blunts, right? Because this was right in the early 90s. This is right when we were introduced in the St. Louis area to blunts by Cypress Hill. And what we would back then, you would literally put an entire dime bag of marijuana. And for those of you who don't know the lingo, and I don't even know if they still say dime bags. I'm so far removed. But dime bag is a $10 bag, which is probably an eighth of an ounce of weed or something like that. And we put I flunked that class. We put the whole thing in a blunt, and that's kind of how we did it. We passed that thing around. So if you're doing a quarter ounce of weed, that's 2-3 blunts a day.
I've smoked that before. Not on a regular basis. Not on a regular basis. I'd have been a part of the party, and it just we're doing it again. Okay.
That was daily, man. That was a daily thing. Wow. And it
mess with your bowels. Every time when I was smoking, I smoked too much. It messed with my bowels. I said, "Whoa, I don't like the way this."
I don't know if it ever messed with my bowels, but it did. There was like it does flip your physiology in a way that I couldn't eat until I smoked. Like
I believe that
it not only did it give you the munchies, but eventually it became your appetite. So until I would wake up in the morning, if I woke up at 6 a.m. and I didn't smoke till noon, I didn't eat till noon.
Wow.
Until it gave me my appetite. So there was a lot going on in those days. And I remember breeding Tupac, gotta get mine, gotta get yours. And he has a line in there that said he's high till I die. And I was seeing that, knowing that somehow I got to escape this life. And thank God that I did. So it is 2022. So that means 21 years. I haven't had any marijuana or alcohol or tobacco.
Wow. That's good.
So, and when I say that was my jam, here's how I knew that I had a problem with marijuana. And for those of you who have problems with substances, this is probably how you can tell too. I would be smoking, and in my mind, while I am smoking, before I actually let the high come down, I'm already calculating when this high is going to wear off and when I'm going to smoke again. Like that's how you know you got a problem. Like I'd be smoking like, this probably gonna last me until 9:30, and then I'm gonna go ahead and blaze up that other one that I rolled up. This guy sitting in the cut, and that's probably gonna last me till 1, and then I'm probably gonna go to the gym and shoot some hoops. But then right after the gym, though, I've got another one in the ashtray. Like who's thinking about that while they're trying to get high, other than a serious dope fiend?
Man, you know what? I don't know what I was there, because when I would smoke, I was always thinking, I'm not high enough. Let me smoke more. I'm not high enough. Let me smoke. And again, I thank God that it was something that I never had to have. I've never rolled my own blunt. I've you know, I used to buy a few and be like, hey, roll this for me. You know, I don't know the increments that are coming in. I'll be like, okay, I think I might have bought weed one time for like $20 or $25 or something like that. But like I said, it gave me the loose booty. So I was like, ooh, I don't want to have diarrhea all the time. That's nasty. But yeah, I just remember when I would smoke, it was like, I'm not high enough. I'm gonna smoke more. I'm not high enough. I gotta smoke. I'm gonna hit harder. I'm gonna smoke more. And then when I did get high, I'd be like, oh Lord, oh my God. I was like, oh, I can't take it. And then it graduated. Okay, I can't do that. Let me try edibles. Tastes good. That high was that's what made me really stop. But I'm glad that I got that high, because that led to me to my sobriety and drinking. And you know, if you don't need it, why do it? You know, I that's the coin that phrase from my pastor. We had a discussion, and it was somebody asked about, you know, drinking to be a Christian, and he was just like, I'm gonna just say, if you don't need it, why do it? If you know you don't need it, why do it? So yeah, glad not to be there.
Well, let's get into some of these pros and cons.
Come on, man.
As we know that our neighbor to the east of us has recently, I think it's been one full year in Illinois.
For
recreational.
Yeah.
And they're enjoying some of the benefits. So right out the gate, pro number one, as you know, what everybody likes to lead with is the money, right?
Right.
Marijuana legalization boosts the economy. The marijuana industry in the United States could exceed $24 billion in revenue by 2025. Now, let's be clear here. The marijuana industry in America is far greater than 24 billion already, right? They're talking about the taxation of the legalization of it, but trust and believe, there's billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of weed flowing in and out of our hoods every single day, right? For every dollar spent in the marijuana industry between 2013 to 2040 cent and economic activity is generated from tourism, baking, food, real estate, construction, and transportation are a few of the industries that benefit from the legalization. A legalized marijuana industry generated $7.2 billion in economic activity in 2016 and added millions of dollars in federal taxes. So when we look at legalizing marijuana, then this is the biggest argument, right? They're doing it anyway. Why not make it legal so Uncle Sam in the state can get their cut, right? So you're talking, I think on our ballot in the state of Missouri, they're going to do a 6% tax on marijuana sold for recreational use. And I believe I'm going to pull in a little commercial here a little bit later. My girl Vanna is going to tell us some of the benefits, but I believe they're creating a special fund that that money is supposed to go towards. And we talked a little bit about this beforehand, Michelle. Some of that funding is supposed to go to veterans or some sort of initiative for veterans. So here we go.
Way to make it make sense.
My pro is the money. Like, let's get to the bag. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Do you think money is a big enough reason for us to go ahead and legalize recreational use of marijuana? What you got to say about that?
There's a con for that. There's a con for that. Legalized marijuana creates steep costs for society and taxpayers that far outweigh the tax revenues, right? Marijuana use harms more than just a person using the drug. Societal costs of marijuana use includes paying for increased emergency room visits, says the person who had called 911 when she ate too many edibles. Nah. The boosted costs of Medicare and addiction treatments for the uninsured, more victims of drugged driving incidents. So, drunk driving, there's drug driving. It impairs your senses when you're high. It increases crime, and it has a negative impact on health from a secondhand smoke perspective. So there's just a few of the things that, legalizing it, yes, there's revenue, but then there's the other side of that. The pendulum swings both ways. So some of these other costs go up because more people have access to it. There's a downside to that.
They lying though, Michelle. They lying.
They lying on y'all. They lying on us. They lying. Why y'all not? But why the pros? Y'all try to drag the vets into it. We gonna give some money to the vets.
They lying.
Y'all stop. That's the lie. They gonna give money to the vets. Y'all show. We gonna give some to the vets and to the church. That's like when people say they win the lottery, they gonna pay their tithes.
They said increased emergency room visits. Michelle, you probably are the only person in the history of marijuana consumption that has ever called 911 for marijuana.
I thought I was going up yonder in my defense, sir. I was like, oh, Lord, what's going? I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to see the king. Okay.
And
sorry.
Drugs driving, and you see how they have to play. See the word play. Drugs driving. No,
it's the truth.
I'm gonna tell you what people high on marijuana do when they behind the wheel. They do stuff like sit at stop signs waiting for it to turn green. Like they don't like they are so paranoid. They might drive 10 miles below the speed limit. See, they said drug driving. They didn't say how on weed driving, because first of all, most people who are smoking is like, I ain't trying to drive anyway because that's gonna blow my high. So
you know what?
So yeah, I need to stop lying with these stats. But let me give you the next one on the list. So
okay, let's go.
Money is one, and two. Legalized marijuana results in decreased teen marijuana use. Researchers at our prestigious school here in St. Louis, Washington University School of Medicine, in St. Louis now,
don't drag the whole city into this.
The rates of marijuana used by young people are falling despite the fact more U.S. states are legalizing or decriminalizing marijuana use, and the number of adults using the drug has increased. Marijuana use among 8th graders in Washington state decreased following legalization in 2012 from 9.8% to 7.3% in 2014 and 2016, according to these studies, and it's dropping all over the country. And that, I believe, that has a lot to do with lies. When you remove the taboo-ness of a thing, like, oh, I don't want to do it. Like, it was cool to do because we were sneaking around trying to do something that we weren't supposed to be doing. But now it's like, no, maybe not.
That's a great philosophy. If it were true, sir, I can't believe you made it all the way through that. I ain't hit you with the face in the while. Okay. My con to that is legalizing marijuana increases use by teens, and it's got harmful results, people. Harmful. Okay. The percentage of 12 to 7-year-olds using marijuana is higher in every legal marijuana state than the national average. For example, 16.21% of Colorado teens and 18.86% of teens in Alaska reported marijuana use in the past year, compared to an average of 12.29% for the United States overall average for 2015 to 16. So them two states have a higher teen rate than the whole United States for that year from 15 to 16.
They playing you, Michelle. They playing you again. Why? Because the
No.
whole United States ain't legal.
It's the fact of the matter.
No.
But it's still okay. Okay, so Colorado passed month-teen. Okay, in the past month, okay, marijuana use jumped 20%. In the 2-year average after marijuana was legalized for. So let me summarize. 2 years after that face, 2 years after they legalized marijuana in Colorado, the usage for teens jumped up 20%. And not only, okay, just that they're smoking more now that it's legal and it's legal in those particular states, teens are going to get it more, right? The effects of the marijuana on the young brain, right? Marijuana is especially dangerous for young people because the human brain is not fully developed until about the age of 25. So you out there smoking at 12, 13, 14, anything under 25, you're jacking your brain cells up. The American Academy of Pediatrics, which is not here in St. Louis, but I just felt like I should call it out since we was naming stuff.
Yeah.
I got some stuff to name too.
They not as prestigious as Washington University. I'm just saying.
You know what? We working on it. We on our way though. We on our way. But they had said the effects of teen marijuana use include impaired short-term memory and decreased concentration, attention span, and problem solving, which clearly interfere with the learning process. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff on here, but kids that's high can't do math. I don't know where that came from, but I just feel like I should point out math is important. And if teens can't count, then where's the future?
They're talking about stuff like memory. I don't need to memorize nothing. I got a smartphone.
You said that like a millennial.
Like, I don't need to be clogging up my memory banks with a bunch of stuff when I can just ask Google. I can just ask Siri.
You know what? You could ask Alexa.
Ask Alexa.
You know
what's 2 plus 2?
Used to be 4, but I'm high right now, so I can't tell you. Nah, she gonna change it. See, that's what happened when people smoke too much weed. They change the logical answer to stuff that fit them. 2 plus 2. I think we'll call it 6 today. No, 2 plus 2. Alexa gonna tell you 2 plus 2 is apple.
So
what? Huh? Orange, green.
Number 3 on my pros.
Okay,
list.
Come on.
Traffic deaths and arrests for DUIs do not increase and may decrease when marijuana is legalized. To my other point, we driving too slow. And even if we did hit something, we ain't gonna hurt nothing because we're driving so slow. I remember approaching a blinking yellow light, and I stopped and I sat there for a long time waiting.
You know what?
Yellow light, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm about to turn red."
And you just sat there waiting. This show is a long yellow light. That is
so traffic deaths drop 11% on average in states that legalize medical marijuana. Arrests for driving under the influence have decreased in Washington and Colorado. Benjamin Henson, an economics professor at the University of Oregon, another prestigious university at Eugene, who studied traffic deaths post medical marijuana legalization, state that public safety doesn't decrease with increased access to marijuana. Rather, it improves. Because like I said, most people ain't trying to drive while they're high because they don't want nothing to blow their high. Studies have showed that drivers under the influence of marijuana tend to be more cautious, not less, take fewer risks than drunk drivers. No, you want to speed up and go around them. Nope, I'm chilling. I'm cool. I'm just going to take my time and get to where I got to go. Right? Fewer lane changes and reducing speed. I told you, we drive slow when we high, right? A fact sheet about marijuana effects on drivers posted on the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration website stated that some drivers may actually be able to improve performance.
I'm not going to have this. I'm not.
Women should get high before they get behind the wheel. Improve performance for brief periods by overcompensating for self-perceived impairments.
Wow. Talk about a stretch. Okay. What all I would say is, I know when I was high, I wanted somebody to blow the high. I was trying to have it be me. I was high driving and went to the store. I went to the gas station. I don't even know what I went in for. I don't even know why I was allowed to go in when the person I was with was used to using marijuana recreationally. Why did the paranoid person go in the store? I don't know. All I gotta say is they had to come get me.
That's called marijuana hazing. Michelle.
Oh, is that? Oh, welcome to the club.
So,
Is that what that
welcome to the club. Let's send her in here, and we all gonna have a good laugh.
And did
hilarious up in here.
And did, because they had to come get me. They was like, "Why are you hiding behind a rounder of chips?" They can see me and they know I'm high. I don't know. I didn't want the people in the store to know I was high because I was like, I shouldn't be this high. And so I was literally hiding, and they were like, "What are you like?" First of all, we could see you. And so the people in the store was like, we was just about to call somebody because we don't know what she's doing. But we figured she was on something. I was drug about her. She just high. She's weed high. You never smoking with us again. I'm glad. And I was wanting to come down. And in fact, Toy, milk don't bring you down. That's a lie.
You and that behind the rap snacks.
But I was beatboxing it all. I behind the rap snacks.
You so confused. I'm trying to hide, but I got the munchies, so I'm gonna take a bag of these in my hiding space. Now I can't hide because I'm busy crunching.
Right, because I'm crunching, and they're like, "What is that? Who is that chewing? What is she?" It was a whole mess. But my con to that, sir, is traffic-related accidents and deaths do increase, or have increased since marijuana was legalized. My study showed that marijuana-related traffic deaths rose 62% once they legalized marijuana in Colorado. We just talking about Colorado here. The former chief of police for Newark, California, said legalizing marijuana, you are commercializing a product that is just going to put more impaired drivers on the road. That's cool. Worsening a problem that we already have. What officers are seeing with the THC levels being very high is that they're seeing impairment being far worse than they've ever seen in the past. The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety reported that fatal crashes involving marijuana doubled after legalization in Washington. Marshall Doney, president and CEO of the AAA Foundation, he said marijuana can affect driver safety by impairing vehicle control and judgment. The Highway Loss Data Institute, that's a real thing. They found an increase in crash risk in legal marijuana states and said collision claims in Colorado, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington increased a whopping 6%, as compared to states that don't have legalized marijuana. A meta study by the National the National Academies of Sciences and Engineering and Medicine concluded that cannabis use prior to driving increases the risk of being involved in a motor vehicle accident. It increases the risk. We don't need to increase risk. We need to decrease risk.
Right.
I said it.
Well, we just gonna put a label on the bottle like they do opioids and say do not operate heavy machinery.
Wow, that's what it is.
Like, so obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we're having fun with this, and we love to hear your thoughts. But
absolutely,
as we're going through this, and I want to kind of pivot a little bit, but you see how every study has a conflicting study.
Absolutely.
So who's lying? Somebody.
Exactly. Somebody lying. That's what my grandma used to say.
But if you've ever watched any of the docuseries on any of these drug epidemics, most recently the opioid epidemic and how they manipulated the Food and Drug Administration to do certain things to make this stuff available. At the end of the day, I think there is, I think we should profit from it. I think the regulations can help, because if you in the streets, for as long as I can remember, the best weed, the way you can determine the quality of the weed is by the smell, right? And it didn't take long for jokers in the streets to realize that some of the best weed smells a little ammonia-like. It's got a real pungent smell. So they figured out that, hey, I can take this dirt weed that ain't about nothing. I can make people think it's about something if I can just get it to smell a little bit like ammonia. And you know, one of the greatest and most widely used household products that got that ammonia-like smell. I don't really want to say it, but it's blue and it's used for cleaning windows. We go into.
They put it in Windex, Jesus.
I said I didn't want to say it.
Well, I can say it because I didn't know what they do.
So it's really just a squirt, and what that does, it creates that smell that most connoisseurs are used to smelling. When you open the bag, you get that. Yeah, that smell like ammonia. That must be some good stuff. I remember, and this might go on your con list, right? That we go into this joker's place and we're going to comp us a little something. And he's got the bottle of blue liquid right there, and he's backing up over here. And he's like, man, this joker is probably spraying this blue liquid on me.
He could have been cleaning his windows. Right. He could have been cleaning his windows before y'all got there.
He could have been cleaning the windows.
He want to keep the place tidy.
But at the end of the day, we bought it anyway. We knew what he was doing. Well, we didn't care. We didn't care.
But that doesn't harm though. So let me ask you this: does that chemical, that even though it's not a lot, does that affect the taste of it? Does it affect your body? Like, does it? You're ingesting.
We don't know, Michelle, and we don't care. We didn't even care. Like, we just have to
silly
see
me.
it, but
we're asking a mom question.
Probably doing right. But I say that to say that when you legalize it, you can take some of that out of it, because now I have a brand. Now I have to put ingredients on the label. Now it's more regulated and uniform, so you can kind of remove some of that from the industry. But still, it is the personal use. And like I said, you got people who are faking medical marijuana cards to get it now. I think controlling it, but here's the bigger thing, and this is what they're not saying, is I get that it's illegal, right? But why is it a Schedule II drug, I believe, narcotic, as if it's the most harmful of all narcotics, right? So it shouldn't be up there with that list, even if it is illegal. But then I think when you look at, I just watched a video clip of a hemp board, right? This is the marijuana is in the hemp family, right? If we go to horticulture, it's in the hemp family. And they made a piece of material, a board out of this hemp material. And they set it next to a heater at 350 degrees for 4 hours. And it never caught fire and barely had any singe marks on it, right? Okay. When you look at the history of the outlawing of hemp, there was a couple things going on in the country at the time. We were learning how to take oil and make plastic and make a lot of other things that are plastic derivatives, which come from oil. And those very same things we used to be able to do with hemp and hemp seed. Okay. I believe, and so do a lot of others who studied this, there are some famous families who took control of the plastic making industry and those industries, and they got their patents and all that kind of stuff, and they didn't want no competition. So they killed marijuana where it is. You know that you can make anything you can make with plastic, you can make from hemp. Anything.
Wow.
And it biodegrades in 2 years. You know, plastic will be on this planet. A plastic water bottle today will be on this planet 100 years from now, 200 years from now. Never decomposes, never goes back to Earth. So imagine how much disruption that will cause in the industry if this is legalized and this is the waste product. So, yeah, Marcus, hemp has been around for a long time. Our forefathers, the founders of this country, used to all be hemp farmers until they had slaves to pick cotton. Like, hey, well, we got this other cash crop that we could use to make clothes and all that kind of stuff. And hemp material, when you look at clothing, is more durable. It lasts longer. So the Constitution is written on hemp paper. Like, hemp has got a real long history with this country. Go ahead with your question.
I have a question, sir. So if I'm hearing you correct, you're saying that these hemp-like products break down in about 2 years, right? They're biodegradable. So let's say if you had, you gave the example of the water bottle, plastic from the water bottle be around till Jesus come back. Get your life right, people, because it's coming. He on the way. Anyway, so if they make water bottles out of hemp, let's say I'm preparing, you know, for something big, and I got water bottles of water in my basement. And it's been 2 years. Does that mean that the waters are going to break? It's going to break down. I'm going to flood my basement because I got all my water I was trying to prepare. And then what if I got clothes in my closet that's made from hemp and they in there? Maybe I'm conservative with my wardrobe. And in there 2 years, is the moths going to eat my clothes? And my clothes just going to disintegrate and fall off the hanger? What's going to happen?
Moths don't even eat hemp clothes.
But they're going to biodegrade. What's going to happen?
No, biodegradation only happens when you put stuff in the earth. So if you got your water bottle in your house and not buried under the ground, no, it's not going to biodegrade. But once you discard that and it goes to the landfills and they bury it, it's going back to the earth. Absolutely.
Good save. Okay.
So you got to understand that there's a lot, there's more to this hemp discussion than just the psychoactive part of the THC. When we look at the psychoactive part of the THC, it's a natural painkiller. What's killing this country right now, especially in small rural communities? Opioids, an unnatural painkiller. Do you know that a lot more adults dealing with pain would rather smoke a joint to heal their pain than take an opioid? But the only difference is I'm going to get drug tested on my job. And because I smoke this joint, I'm going to lose my job, even though it is better for my pain. And now I'm addicted to an opioid because it's legal.
Opioids, though, they test for opioids too, though. You know what I'm saying? So unless you just, I guess, in theory, unless you just come with a prescription, I guess.
But
I mean,
like that's what I'm saying. You can. The big thing about I think it's the Sackman family. I forget the family who really pushed the opioids into the space of being able to prescribe it for non-critical pain. There was a time where you could only get an opioid if you just had surgery or something, and your pain, it was critical. Then they started saying, well, hey, what they did was they got the FDA to approve a language that says opioids are non-addictive.
Now what they did? Now that's just a lie.
They found some guy who wrote in an unofficial paper that said they are less than 1% addictive, and that it was not true, but they said it, and it happened to be his opinion, not a medical opinion, but just something he was saying, and someone quoted him in some sort of medical journal, and they took and ran with that. And because it was less than 1% addictive, so they say, now it became safe to prescribe for a headache. It became safe to prescribe for a sprained ankle. So I would, if you would rather smoke a joint than take an opioid, because your doctor gave you a prescription, and you're like, you know what, I got a natural painkiller, I'd rather take this than that. So yes, they do test for opioids, but if you got a prescription, you're safe, right? But if you go in and say, my doctor prescribed me an opioid, I decided to smoke a joint instead because I didn't want to become addicted to opioids, but I don't have a prescription for the joint, and the joint is illegal. Now I lose my job, and I could potentially go to jail, right? It's bananas, right?
Man.
And then when you add to that, every one of these states who's legalizing recreation or marijuana is giving anyone who has been charged with a non-violent crime associated with marijuana to have their records either expunged, to petition for release from prison if they are locked up, and those kinds of things. And we know, based on the prison industrial complex, those are the best criminals to have. Listen, think about it. If you've got to house a bunch of criminals where there's probably 10, 20, 30 criminals to one guard, to one CO, would you want that ratio to be 10, 20, 30 murderers to one CEO? Or would you want that to be 10, 20, 30 non-violent guys who were just peddling a little weed, and you're going to keep them locked up versus the hardcore criminals?
I get that. But what about slightly stepping backwards? And I'm sure it's on my cons list. And not in all cases, because I know some folks that they've only ever smoked weed and that's all they smoke. But what about the cases where people who do start to smoke weed, right, and they smoke it and they become numb to it, right? I smoke it, I'm looking for a stronger strand, I'm looking for stronger. This is not doing it anymore. I'm graduating into something else. There is that potential risk for it to really be, that's why they call it a gateway drug. I hate to be cliche, but you know, there is that risk that that high is not high enough, and that it will eventually open the door to, okay, well, let me try meth because this high is not working anymore. I want to stay up. So that's that. And then I will ask this question again. I don't know if it's on my list or not because the list is exhaustive and I ain't went all the way through it. But do you think, in your opinion, that most people that smoke weed or that do any kind of drug, but weed is the one we're talking about today, they're doing it so they want to be high to escape something? They want to be high because there's something going on the inside of them that they don't want to deal with and they don't want to face. So that is kind of that need to get high, stay high. Now, if it's pain, people who are like, oh my God, I'm in pain. And then let's say the pain eventually subsides, right?
Yeah.
And they keep smoking. That there's the habit. You were smoking it for the reason of getting rid of the pain, but now the pain is gone. Your ailment has been cured. Now you just continue to smoke. And, you know, that's the only, I think, the thing that kind of clouds it for me is, with the exception of a medical reason, most people are doing it because they're running from something or trying to forget something.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It is anybody who is trying to alter their state of mind, either with marijuana, with alcohol, with anything. Chances are is they have some unresolved trauma that they are dealing with, and trying to handle, or if it's not unresolved trauma from their past, it is things that are stressing them today. People smoke cigarettes to calm their nerves, as they say, right? But I don't think it's a gateway drug. I think there's a lot of studies that have debunked that as a myth. And in terms of, I know so many, and I know it's just one person, but a lot of people who smoke marijuana only smoke marijuana. In fact, they don't want to be around any other people. Like there's weed heads who don't even want to be around people who drink. Like, no, you take the alcohol somewhere else because you're gonna be on a different type of level and you gonna blow my high.
You know what? Here go the one for me. They don't want to. Now I don't smoke either, but I've never really been a cigarette smoker either. But they don't want. I know a lot of weed heads that don't want to be around cigarette smokers.
Don't want to because that stuff stink. Like,
listen,
get your butt away from around me.
Weed stink too. Weed stinks too.
It does not. I still to this day, 21 years sober. You know, I sometimes I stalk little guys when they get out the car.
You know what? I've died.
It's like, you know, I drive Uber and sometimes they get in and out of the car. Man, that cologne sure smell good, my friend.
You know what, sir? Don't you tell nobody else that. You amongst friends on the St. Louis Hustle podcast. But don't you dare tell nobody else you be stalking these folks. Can I just smell? Let me just smell you.
Pepe Le Pew, right, from the WB, when the female skunk goes by and he starts floating in the air behind her, like that's me when somebody walk past me and
that cologne,
smell like some of those good fruit, as we would call them back in the day.
There's some stuff that smell like stinkweed, but that's a whole nother thing. Sometimes the aroma can be, it's like, wow, it's very loud. But they have so many different strands and so many different things. I guess that is my thing as a person that made the attempt to be a connoisseur. And again, hallelujah, thank God for Jesus. That ain't my life now. But I tried and I was just like, I got so confused between this strand and that strand, and this is this and this is that, and that's loud, that's quiet, this dirt weed, this cheap weed, this Reggie, this Russell, this Bob weed. What I just was like, you know what? At that time when I was drinking, I was like, I'm gonna just stick to alcohol. Okay, this is vodka. And that's it.
It's like Cat Williams say, hey, I just want some regular weed. I don't want the hippity hopping and hopping out. Just give me some regular.
By the look of some of his hairdos, he didn't have some weed that ain't been regular, but that's a whole nother story.
But at the end of the day, I think for me, legalizing recreation opens the industrial hemp industry. And as an entrepreneur, I tell my wife, I said, man, we're gonna move to Canada, because Canada, you can grow hemp. Now, hemp is the sister of marijuana. It is non-psychoactive, but it's the same structure of a plant. And that's where you can easily make all of the clothes from. You can make all the plastics, you can make all the paints, the inks, the dyes, anything you can do from an oil-based product, you can do with hemp. And you imagine not only that, the amount of trees we cut down to make paper. You know, in most states in America, you can probably grow 3 crops of hemp because it grows so fast. Like, when you cut down a tree, that tree is done.
It's gonna be a while.
For 20 years, right?
Oh, you're done. It's gonna be a while.
It's gonna be a while.
Go wait on it.
There's a lot of other benefits economically, job production, and all sorts of things that come into play when that door starts to open. And I don't think that door can open until we can get recreation through the door. And now it's like, hey, all of these companies are growing all of this hemp to sell recreationally. Well, what happens with the plants and the stalks? Well, we know what industry does, just like in the food industry. Once they run all of the corn syrup out of the corn, what do they do with the byproducts? They put it in dog food, they put it in cat food, they put it in all kinds of stuff. So once you take all of the flowers off the hemp trees, what are you gonna do with the hemp trees? Now it becomes, oh, let's not throw this away. Let's go ahead and turn it into paper. Let's go ahead and turn it into clothes. Let's go ahead and now the industrialization of hemp comes back into play. And I think that was one of the primary reasons that it became illegal in the first place. So Missouri, if you're listening, it's on the ballot, man.
Man, go vote.
Get out there and vote. State your piece and let your voice be heard. Any final thoughts?
I'm just glad I'm clean and sober. That we say clean, make it feel like he was doing something else. But I am grateful that I no longer, because I was doing it for just the reasons that I said. I was not dealing with some of the trauma in my life or from my past, and or even the things that I was going through in life. So alcohol and marijuana made me forget the issues in my life that I didn't want to think about. When I have now found my resource to just really turn it over to God, to really turn to God, to work through it from a spiritual cadence with my Lord and Savior, as opposed to without him. And I don't smell like residue afterwards. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win. Don't clash with my cologne or nothing. So that's my final thoughts. Yeah.
Love it. Mine is to get out and vote, people, whether you're for it or against it, let your voice be heard.
That's it.
And there's a lot of other things on the ballot. So make sure y'all check out the St. Louis County Board of Elections, as well as the St. Louis City Board of Elections. They got sample ballots out there for y'all to be able to see what's on the ballot. So go check that out. We're less than a week away, or exactly a week away. So get out there and let your voice be heard. Until we talk to you next time, get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. More importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now,